what's up guys? So this is my first time streaming, and so if I run into any technical difficulties, please bear with me. I'm not seeing anything on my screen right now, although it sounds like from the chat here people are able to see something. I was just kind of figured that today what I want to do is do some trophy pushing and maybe kind of talk about the teams I'm using for this particular event, and maybe answer any questions. And so what I'm going to do is just going to wait a little bit and see if anybody else has any questions. Okay, great. I'm also I'm going to adjust my mic a little bit so that I make sure that people can hear me. And so right now, if everybody can see okay, then great. So right now I'm just gonna talk about where I'm at right now. The goal here is to catch up to my guildmates and also push up to closer to back into Legends if possible, or at least stay in gold right now. And let's see here, so mic here. And so I actually got a second ultra rare card here since the last time I made my video, and having 2 ultra rare cards actually is a lot better than a single one. And the goal here is to talk about let's talk about how I'm using this deck, and also we can talk about different combinations. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to post in the chat, and I'll try to answer as best I can. So let's just go ahead and try a couple bosses here. So I'm gonna, let's see, is this one? This is weekend. So I'm gonna try the one with fear actually, so that'll be Ronan. How's everybody doing with the fear boss using just the ultra rare? So I'm running 2, and I actually find that half the time I'm actually getting hit by fear as opposed to about 80% the spout rate. And also I'm finding that it's actually trying to cast it every single turn. So lower the here. Sorry, I couldn't actually hear any of the audio, so thank you for the feedback so far. And in fact, I think I might just turn off the music and maybe make the effect volume go down. How's the audio? Is the audio a little bit better now? So, okay, great. All right, so let's try this again, because that first fight didn't work very well. And so let's try this one more time. So yeah, so I get hit by fear, as you can see that pretty often, even though I'm running 2 ultra rare cards, and it just doesn't make sense for me to actually run a warden at this point with this particular setup. And so one of the things I try to do to to counteract that is at least if I can make sure that I at least activate or at least get my skills going, then I can at least activate everything. Because when you get hit by fear, you don't lose your battle skill right away. So at least there's that, and so I can try and activate everything. So I can salvage my damage a little bit. And so after that, though, it's really kind of hard to build it back up. That's how I find it. So fear is just something I dislike a lot. Finish this fight here. And I'm also running just one ultra rare and one master card collection card and one card. And so the 2-turn versus 1-turn cooldown actually makes a pretty big difference. This deck honestly, except for 13. But yeah, I had a hard time with this actually. I think this is growing on me, so it feels interesting to me, right? Like it's a little slow to get going, and when you activate the ultra rare cards, you lose all of those tiles. Turn down the sound effects. Okay, let me just go ahead and turn everything off. I normally don't play with the audio on anyway, and so let's just go ahead and turn volume down. And then when I start the fight later, I will probably just turn it off as well. Let me just, let's see. Let's go into a boss fight here. Sound off now. All right, so let me know if that's better here. I'm just gonna do a couple of hits here, and then if you can let me know how the sound is. So when you say the sound effects, do you mean the sound effects from the game itself or sound effects from other sources? So right now, just testing this out right now using the game. And there's probably some delay as well, so I'm just gonna wait for, okay, good. I'm just gonna wait for the feedback, a lot better, that's good. So let's go ahead and exit out there. Yeah, so it's not bad if you get used to 2 tricksters. Yeah, like, I think the first day or two, I was running with just one, and it was hard. Like, it took forever for me to build up intensity, and, I found that I really wasn't having a lot of fun with it, and I felt a little disappointed because I had the ultra rare card, I had the master collection, 2 event cards, and a support card. It wasn't until I got the second ultra rare that it actually started to be a lot better for me, and so that's how I feel too. And in fact, there's other decks that will actually do better here, I think, because this deck has a capped damage as well, and so I'm curious how it's gonna do in the in the legend trials. So how do you I'm curious what you guys are thinking. Like what decks would you like, like how are you doing for this event? Like, what's the makeup that you're doing? Is there anything you'd like to see? Feel free to comment down below. Right now I'm just gonna go ahead and try to push a little bit. Let's skip the fear one because that was annoying. So let's go ahead and go weekend here. Let's see where we are right now. The goal here, we're 23rd. To get back up to gold 3, I need a couple of billion there. So hopefully in the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be here. Let's just do some trophy pushing, and I'm also gonna try this against the guild boss. I haven't really tried it all that much. Just kind of been focusing on the solo bosses for now. But my guildmates who are running 2 and actually doesn't quite have as much relics as I do, has as many relics as I do, is actually doing pretty well. So I'm gonna try it out later a bit, and then let's see how we do there. And it's interesting right now. My setup, I've got my phone on a my normal recording holder, and yet it feels a little different because I'm actually talking live right now. So bear with me. Thanks for sticking with me and giving me feedback here. This is actually a pretty interesting experience. So Con William Deep using the Light Creature Commander and the Green Giant Slayer deck. Yeah, that's a really awesome deck actually, I'm just kind of sad that I wasn't able to get the full deck for that one. Um, and are you using that deck with the full deck, or are you also using the bug card to create the create the Power Gen 4s? I saw a lot of people that didn't bother with the ultra rare card because they already had the bug deck, and so they just kind of threw it in there, and it worked really well for them. So I thought that's cool. Yeah, so like Commander, that's one of my favorite decks as well. In fact, like I actually used this deck to push. Okay, yeah, so both full decks. I use this deck still in all Commander events just to push up to. I was able to push to about level 250 using this with one key, and so I don't see myself really changing this for a while. Although this deck now actually might work, not too bad for getting the overkill as well. I'll see, but I feel like this deck just is so much better. Like I love the mechanics here, and so this one and the Barbie deck, which I don't have, so I'm curious if they're gonna have another one that the tanks, yeah. So I'm curious if they're going to have a similar deck in the next affinity, but right now, though, my problem with this deck is it feels like when it's longer fight, because of the cap damage here, other decks end up, outperforming a little bit. So just gonna read through the chat a little bit, say hi to everybody who's joining us. So thanks again, guys, for joining the stream right now. I'm seeing Ryan, Promo Merrill, Be Like Billy, Pumpkin Escobar, Con William Deep, and Dumpy Sweet Rain. So Ben Rutherford, thanks all for joining in and joining on the chat a little bit. There's a giant deck. Yep, a lot of people are doing that, mixing with the bug deck, and there's the Beach Barbie deck, but not the Orsing. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, unfortunately, this is really one of the better times for me. Weekends is really tough for me, and so appreciate you guys staying up and watching this. And this was really last minute too. I didn't really say a whole lot. I didn't actually announce it in my YouTube videos or anything. And so thanks for catching and checking this out. So your wise cousin Jill haven't played this game since March. Oh wow. Well, the game has changed a lot since then. And for good or for bad, there's buy decks all the time, and hopefully my goal is always to make sure that we can talk, give feedback and have the decks be more usable in the future. And so, hey, I'm seeing more people. Bloody Ducks 36 I'm guessing this is Baby Ducks in the game. So shout outs there. Tesla deck. So that was one of my favorite decks, to use for a while as well. I actually was really excited when I got when I got my first Tesla deck, and I didn't actually get the ultra rare at the time. That's what we called it, and I was a little bit disappointed with that. But I was running with 2 Sophias. I actually got 2 in 1 tier. I really was happy about it, and then used that for a long time. But then unfortunately the rate at which you could actually the rate that the passive activates was just so bad with a single Alexa. And then recently, I think maybe a month or 2 ago, I was just doing some dust pulls, and what I did was just kind of try to pull, I think I forget which one it was I was trying to pull, it, but it was definitely a Warden card. And then I ended up getting 2 more Alexas, so I leveled up one of them, and then I noticed that it was significantly better, and so that was a pretty fun deck to use. And then so I tried using it against a gem boss, or another, not gem boss, but another big boss there, and just unfortunately just didn't work out as well. It was just a little bit underpowered compared to the other decks that are there now. So it's just kind of fortunate. Like some of our favorite decks that we used to use, I'm just not seeing them as much now. So I'm just gonna read back a little bit. So Pumpkin Escobar, thanks for becoming more decent in this game as a new player. Hey, thank you very much for watching, and glad it's helpful. Yeah, and so Water Dragon deck's useless now. So if you're talking about the one with what's the name again? first iteration of the what was that? The not the Radiant, but I already forgot. It was the elite bosses. Yeah. So unfortunately, the Water Dragon deck wouldn't work against that. But with a lower health, I think that if you have a all five relics and or at least close to the five relics, I've seen some people rock that deck still. So I think that it's still usable. It's just not as powerful as some of the decks now. So that's a problem, right? Like power creep really is an issue, but I'm hoping that they'll do something about it. Like I heard that they're hoping to move in the direction about toward that. So we'll see. Let's see. So previous. Yeah, we're seeing, I like that they're making previous UR available in packs to complete all decks. Yeah, this is the first time we're seeing that, right? So the legacy decks, I'm hoping that they pick another one that people like a lot, and we can try that. All right, so Leah, this is going to be easy. Oh, no, let's actually go ahead and try a guild boss right now. So we're going up against Kata. All right, so I'm going to have to focus a little bit, and I'm not going to be able to reach out for a second, so bear with me. So this is basically like just how I would do when I'm, doing videos and talking when I'm playing here. Let's see here. So 103 billion health. Let's see what I'm going to do with that. Yeah, so unfortunately, like I only have one relic, and I do have Amy's sword. So I've kind of thought about switching it out. I actually switched it up for an Amy's sword when I was doing campaign. So I was able to finish the Infernal campaign using that with this particular setup. And then I was really happy that most of the friends I have on my friends list had the ultra rare card as well. So I was rocking basically that with an ally, and that really made it easier. So I was able to finish Infernal last map just earlier today. Curious how you guys are doing with that particular map, and how do you like it? Right, I'm just gonna wait for my Tanu to be powered up, and let's go ahead and see how much damage you can do here. Armor also is gone. So that kind of sucked that armor wasn't dispelled there. And also because the Master Collection card dispels nothing in this particular event, which is, I know somebody had, people have given a lot of feedback on that one as well. So how much damage did the okay, so we're 71. So probably not going to be able to do anything because I'm just not playing very well right now. Playing super slow. Okay, let's see here. All right, 270. Okay, 255. I want to wait until I'm at 300. So we'll go ahead and activate that now. Although I don't have enough tiles. I'm gonna use up all my tiles, so I'm gonna save a little bit here. Yeah, I used. Okay, so I have one there. I'm gonna have to get another 2 more, and then I can use my ultra rare again, because it's gonna activate 3 of those. And how did I? Oh yeah, I got hit. I'm getting hit by. Did you guys see that? Wait. So I just noticed that. So I got hit by armor. 4 of my cards. Oh, that's right. That's because my Tanu is 10 times awakened. So it dealt about like 400 million or something like that. So that sucked. A lot of people all my guildmates were able to take it down by one shot. So I'll practice a little bit more and catch up to the chat. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm just reading back. Don't Be Sweet Rain is actually near Akai. Is it Mahina, or is the 2 eyes there Mahina? So let me know. Strongest deck is Rainbow Anniversary deck. The Amy deck, I like that as well. Legacy deck. Yeah, so the Legacy deck doesn't have the dispel for this event hero, so that's unfortunate. I thought about that as well. I was trying to play with that. But the deck works well, I think, against armor, because if you could actually just wait the armor out, that's okay as well. Weaken's not bad. It's just the fear is the one that's the worst. But I think weaken, even if you get hit by weaken, it's just a little bit lower damage, but at least you're not prevented from actually dealing damage there. Let's see here. All right, some good chats going on there. All right, so while you guys are doing that, I'm going to try this again. So I think the problem I've sort of been thinking about too, as I'm thinking about the Legend trial boss, is if you don't have enough celebration tiles, after you use it up, it's going to take a little bit longer to build them all up again, right? So running with a an ultra rare card and not ultra rare, running with a master collection card and the event card actually has a disadvantage because the event card takes 2 turns there, and so if you have if you have all the master collection cards, that's at least easier. And if you have an enchanted relic, I know that you'll be able to build up more. But I'm just kind of thinking about like where I'm at with two ultra rare cards in here. When I start the legend trials, I think my issue is really going to be I'm going to run out of time because I'm not going to have enough tiles to do anything. So I'm going to have to end up using more turns to try and get more matches and also build up the tiles. So I'm curious how that's going to happen. Definitely going to be trying that out, obviously. But that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. That's my fear, and it looks like armor really is going to be a problem for me as well, just because I noticed that even when I matched everything, I still had all of my damage drop down to 1. All right, so let's see here. And by the way, there's also a some of you are probably in the line chat. If not, there's actually a way for you to one key bosses with this particular deck. You can use the stage to do that, because what you can do is you can basically have an infinite delay on the cards, and then you just have to run 2 ultra rares and 2 master collection cards, and then you'll be able to delay the boss indefinitely, and then basically just keep killing the just kind of keep the counter going, and then eventually take the boss down. All right, so 2 attacks and wasn't able to take it down, so this is getting a little frustrating for me. Let's try one more time. So this is atypical of me because I think that I thought that I've practiced this deck enough, and right now I'm just not playing at my best really, but I'm not really focusing. I'm trying to keep my eye on the chat as well here. So I'm really happy to have all of you join. I'm going to go back later and talk, sort of see who else has joined us here. And what time zones is everybody watching at right now? I know for some of you this is going to be pretty late since I'm actually on the West Coast side, West Coast time, and so I know that for anybody who's on the East Coast in the U.S., this is going to be hard for you. And if anybody is in a different geolocation, probably easier if you're in the Europe area, right? But yeah, it's going to be probably harder for anyone who is probably staying up late to watch this. Yay, all right, take down the boss. There you go. All right, so we've got Ben from Australia and Jan or Jan for Europe. Okay, Netherlands. Okay, so let's just go back to some more solo legend bosses. Fear. So, let's see here. Which cards are your favorite ones to use to dispel fear? I actually, back when Flamma, when the Domi deck was available, I loved the fact that I had both Domi and Bestarias that both dispelled fear. Even though it wasn't guaranteed, but it was just, that was one of my favorite decks, and I was really happy that it dispelled it, but I haven't used that deck a lot since then. So these are all the cards I have that dispel fear. I haven't really leveled up most of my wardens, and as you can see, I'm not running a water defense, so my Urza is only at 4 stars there. Oh, that's right, Alexa did also dispel fear, but my go-to actually is the Bone Collector. That was when I would play with my my Gadget deck. because he also, you know, I think generates light gems. Yeah, so generates 3 light gems as well, so that always helps there. Okay, so let's give this a try again against Fear. Let's see how many times we get hit by that. Yeah, Upco from the last Slayer deck. Unfortunately, I don't have that card. It was unfortunate. I really wanted that card too, just because it was a Warden card in addition. And I find so what I found is that when they come out with a really interesting, you know, Master Collection card that's also a Warden, I just can't get it. So I didn't get Lacaria, and I didn't get, you know, the last one, the Earth Slayer card either. So that's you know, that's too bad. I think after this, I'm gonna just kind of start check. You know, let's get some ideas from you guys. You know, I would love to hear and see. You know, how you know, what other decks you're using in this event. I've already seen some Amy deck, and well, I can't use a giant deck unfortunately. So I will not be able to do that. But if you're using a different variation of this deck, you know, let's try it out and let's see what you're doing. You know, what kind of success you have with it. We can use this chance to talk about. So there you go. Got hit by Fear there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and activate everything, and then we'll be able to take out the boss at this point anyway without problems. Amy deck with Bone Collector. Yeah, I haven't tried that. I actually use Bone Collector with my Gadget deck if I really need to dispel Fear, and I'm using that deck. But yeah, I think it'll work. But for me, my Amy deck. Let's see, do I have it still? I have 1 Amy and I have 2 Daniils, and then I have I'm running 2 Astros. So if I'm putting a Warden in there, I'll have to remove one of the Astros. And the problem with that is that the heal is just not quite high enough. But we can try that out. So let's go and take a look here. All right, so Romeo Lopez, good night. Thank you very much for joining the stream, and thanks for chatting here. Let's see. So is there any? Oh yeah, so 1:30. So quite a few East Coast there. So thank you guys. Fairly Kotar, also 1:30 a.m. Thanks again for staying up late and checking and joining. I'll play around with different time frames, different times. But this is really the only time I can get you know, to be able to do this in quiet and not have to entertain family, kids, you know. So again, I appreciate you guys coming out and checking out the stream here. All right, so I'm just scrolling up in the chat right now. I'm trying to see if there's any other deck ideas that we can try out here. But I think the easiest one is probably we could try it with 1, right? Go back to the deck that I had with just a single ultra rare and see what we can do there. So I just see Zephyr here. Good night. Thank you for joining us. So be like Billy. I like how you can smell old runes, but when do they disappear? How many events will stay? So my experience, actually, I've actually seen the old runes stay for about 3 events at least. So I've had about 3 events old. I would be surprised if they actually disappear, because I think what happens is you can take a look in your codex. So if you look in your codex, you can actually see the old not codex in your inventory. You can actually see your old runes as well as any dust that you have. So I'll be surprised if they actually disappear. So let's take a look at some of the let's see, yeah, so you can see all the runes here, right? So if you go to Catalyst, that's where they stay. So I don't expect any of them to disappear, regardless how many events there are. As long as it's, you know, maintain your inventory, it should show up when the event for that affinity comes up, so that you can actually smelt them again. And so you can see I got quite a bunch here. I can smelt later. So hopefully that answers the question. At least that's my guess. Don't take my word for it for sure, because if it does happen that you have old runes that don't appear, definitely put in the ticket there. All right, so let's actually try and see what happens if I were to take one out here. And let's go back to the original deck there. Doesn't counter fear. Yeah, so this was the deck I was running. All right, your wise cousin Jill. Thanks for staying up, and thanks for watching. And maybe we'll have it next time. All right, so let's try this out. Let's try this deck, and I think what I want to do is actually I want to switch out my relic. Do I want to switch out my relic? No, I think it's actually better for me not to switch out the relic, so I'll deal with that. So with one ultra rare, intensity becomes a lot more important, and really you got to get to at least 150 or maybe even 300 to make this work better. So let's try this out and see if we can take out the solo legend here. This is actually probably more common of a deck type, sort of deck makeup that most people have. This is at least what I had, and it's just unreasonable to feel like people should just have the 2 or more. Oh, I ran the wrong team there, so I'm gonna get hit by fear there. But yeah, it's just like having 2 or more ultra rares is something that I know is gonna be harder for most people to have, and so I try to make sure that my videos doesn't actually contain just the best decks that you can possibly get, and make it really hard for people to be able to utilize. And it's hard to it's hard to really imagine what if I'm just using this, for example, like I'm already I was using just 2 ultra rare, and I already kind of forgot how hard it was running with just 1. And so let's go ahead and I can't even get my my battle skill to fill up. So let's focus here. And I think what I'll have to do is, well, as I'm doing this, I'm actually filling up my I'm filling my intensity at least. So let's see. Hopefully we don't lose all of them. All right, so I lost the ultra rare there. That's okay. I can use Tanu at least to fill up the battle skill again. And so we're at 285. We're going to be at 300. I'm going to go ahead and activate Raidu here, and then activate Karasu. And let's see here. Yeah, probably not going to be able to take out the boss with this. Based on experience there, I think it's going to take 1 more hit. So yeah. So this is Fear, one of the most annoying debuff ever introduced. Okay, let's see if we can take this out. Keep your fingers crossed. 4 billion is all we need. Okay. Ooh, last second. So don't be almost broke iPad because of this event. Would love to know what happened. Were you just pressing it really hard, or was it out of frustration? So let's see, Kenneth. I run with 2 ultra rare, 2 rare, and 1 ultra rare. Okay, not too bad. So yeah, so I like Tanu. I like the support card because he's able to heal you all the time, and at least for me, I got so many of them. I just awaken them all the way up to 10, and so he actually is one of my main damage dealers there. But that's not a bad idea. Running 2 ultra rare, 2 event card, and 1 ultra rare. I do have that. I can try that as well. One, and then Ryan Rev, 1 event hero, 2 support. And yep, so basically 2 support instead of similar to mine, but I have 2 event card instead of 2 support card. And you have 2 relics. Okay, that's good. When I have armor, take those turns to build up intensity. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like if you have armor, I mean, if you have the support cards, you don't have to really worry about it. You can just do quick matches, and you can build up intensity there. I like that last sentence there. And so Zephyr, I think that's a possibility. It seems like people are very engaged here. I'm really happy about just this first stream. I'm seeing good conversations. Yeah, I think that there's definitely more streams. I just have to figure out a good time I can do this. So I'll start announcing it more as I have more planned. Power Gem Silence. Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure. Oh, Power Gem Silence is they're not really coming out with as many dispels, as many wardens for that. When it first got introduced, there's a couple that came out, but yeah, I see that it's not something that they really have come out recently. So I think the last one actually is not a Warden, but Power Gem Silence. I think Thoth is the one that dispels it, or is that Cobra King? Cobra King, yeah. So it was not a Warden, but a Ultra Rare card that dispelled that. Frustrated with it, so I just activated. They fell. Okay. I see. So I think Dumby there frustrated with armor bosses. So I threw it accidentally. So that was a response to my question earlier. I see. Well, I'm glad that I got your glad your iPad is still okay. That you still can play the game with it. Snake got cards. Yeah, that's the one. And so that reminds me. So like this is also another deck that I really like. So we can, I think, what was I using? I think I was using Ray for Might, but I think what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and change this. I'm going to go back and use my Fire God type cards. I also like this deck a lot, right? So this is the team that I like to use, and where'd they go? This is actually the team I usually would run. And so let's make sure, get rid of this. Bring back the God Relic. So I'm now going to try and hit the bosses using a different team. Be like Billy, thank you very much for joining us. Take care. I think there's one. Yeah, so let's go back and hit. Let's see. We're not going to be able to deal with fear. So let's go up against Leah. Let's use this deck here. So right now, I think the two staple teams I've been using, definitely this is one of them, and then the other one is the Gadget, the Light Goblin human deck. I don't have as many good Slayer decks that I enjoy using as much nowadays. So that's a shame there. Okay, and let's go ahead and activate this. Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, so like these two decks, like I feel like having just the Thoth deck and the Gadget deck, the Light Goblins, has been really good for me. And I actually prefer Commander events a lot better than Slayers at this point too. I just feel like the decks themselves, like I said this last time in one of the videos, I just feel like it's just retains value so much more than your Slayer cards, and so it just investment wise, I enjoy more building up a nice Commander team. I actually tried using this in a the last Earth Slayer event. No, the last Fire Slayer event, I actually did use the Thought deck. I was actually dealing more damage with this deck than I did using the actual event deck at the time. So that's the one with the Wolf as the event hero, the Master Collection card. Let's see here. We should be good to go here. So it took a few hits, and this was also like fully weakened. But yeah, like it still deals just enough damage to take out the legend bosses, no problem there. So yeah, it's like just such a good deck. Oh, got some more new people. So Peter Sheldman, welcome, thanks for watching. And Be Like Billy, yes, definitely. I actually didn't expect quite so many people to jump in here. I really literally just kind of thought about today. It's like, I have some time tonight and maybe I'll just give it a try. So I'll definitely give a heads up. I'll announce it in a video before I do a stream again, and I'll make sure to provide the time for the next stream. So thanks for watching. Camilo Escobar, so what deck would you recommend to complete the Infernal Crusade? Two options. Oh wow. Okay. I can go and do a fight right now if I have the cards. So let's see. So I'm a 5 for 5. I actually just finished earlier. I can tell you the deck I'm using. So let's first see what. So for this particular case, I think your your ally becomes more important here. And right now, let's see. So I have one. Okay, so I can tell you the one I used. I can show you the one that I actually used to take out the last level there. So let's go ahead and change this to water corrupt. And I have the team that uses 2 ultra rares, and bringing in the 3rd ultra rare card is the key to easily taking out the boss here. And so this is the deck I'm using. We'll talk about this one option, and then we can take a look at another option there. But this is the one I'm going to use, and I'm actually going to change the relic. So this is the one where changing the relic out for Amy's sword is going to be more useful for me. Now, if you have 2 relics, that's going to be easier. For me, I only have the 1, and so what I'm doing here is I'm using Amy's sort of loyalty to create some more gems, because I need to be able to activate everything on turn 1. If I could do that, then it actually becomes easy. And I think this is the level where I actually needed to revive on turn 1, just because they hit so hard. And so I needed to revive here. But after I revive, I'll show you basically the order of business here. So let's go and take a look here. All right, so let's make sure that we can activate everything, and let's see. So I'm gonna get hit by all 3 of them, so I expect I'm going to lose all my health. And so let's go ahead and revive here. And now all you have to do is activate the your 2 cards that create the tiles, and you just activate 1 ultra rare at a time. Okay, that's all you have to do, and it deals enough damage with the power gem matches for you to clear each wave. And so in the next one, you'll still have a celebration tile, but just go ahead and create, every time you activate your master collection card or event card, you're going to have additional power gems too. So that just kind of helps with the damage. And then here, depending on the middle boss, sometimes I would also want to activate Tanu here to get that extra damage boost. I actually saw an earth boss, sort of the mini boss in the second round, and I had to hit twice in order to take it out. And so if you had already used up a revive, and then that middle mini boss actually hits you and takes you out, then you're gonna have to spend more gems there. So that's why I have to be very careful to make sure that get more gems on the board. And so with this, that's basically how you can take it out. So I think the question was, 2 options. I think if we're not talking about the event deck here, some of the other cards I've seen, if you have the Water Barbie deck, so the cards, I don't have the cards, but I can sort of talk about them. I think what a lot of people were doing is they were using 2 ultra rares or 2 or 3 ultra rares, plus either if you have the Master Collection card, the Bone Grinder, or you can use any of this combination. Really, I think that works. But I honestly have not tried using any other decks right there. And I know that some people also, typically, this would be the deck that I would use to finish all of the the campaign maps. So I think with this particular setup, the person I like to bring in as an ally would be Luminous Gadrid. But with the boss at its health there, I think it should still be okay, because all you have to do is do the activate your cards each turn. That's basically the same idea. Activate your Master Collection card or your Ultra Rare card each turn, and just take out the cards, take out the enemies each wave. So hopefully that helps. Give it a try. Definitely bring in the more Ultra Rare cards you can have. 3 would ensure that you'll be able to finish the waves each time. All right, so let's go back and finish up. Let's see how we're doing on the stream time here. So yeah, it's been 50 minutes, and we're going strong here, so thanks a lot. And let's see, more new people. So Don Henry, hi. So what a surprise. I've been using TBone against armor bosses. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. So, having the event card that that Dispels Enslayers was a really good idea. Hopefully they would think about translating it back into community events as well. Although I can sort of see both sides of the story. You know, like some people like a little bit of a challenge, but I think that, you know, sometimes they're just debuffs that are just too much of a pain to deal with. So I personally, you know, I'm okay with it either way. You know, it is what it is. So sometimes it's going to be hard, so I just kind of have to deal with it and look for ways. And let's see. So what we can do is, you know, play around a little bit. And so let's bring in a boss that dispels fear. Do I have water that dispels fear? I'd have Urzel. Counter skill, fear, but do I really want to bring? Oh, I have Thor too. Thor gives me invincibility. I don't really need that. But if I bring in another card, so basically now I'll have 3 cards that can dispel fear. That should give me basically 100%, right? So which one is fear? I think that's Sarah. So yeah, so basically this would be the same as if I were to bring in a Warden. Well, worse than if I were to bring in a Warden, because Warden actually will dispel it 100%. But go ahead and add in, which one do I want to add here? I think it's a pumpkin. All right, so let's go ahead and face our fears. All right. So now I only have 1 Master Collection card here, so it's going to be a little bit, I have to make sure that I remember to activate it every time. So it's interesting. I'm curious how this is going to work out. I'm actually pretty excited to try this out. I didn't actually try this combination, so I'm going to bear with me as I explore a little bit. All right, so let's see if we can dispel almost every time, I hope. Okay, so I definitely want to activate Tanu as well, so that I can activate, so I can try to activate my Master Collection card again. And I don't really need I don't need the invisibility because I heal 100% there. All right, so now this is where it's going to get interesting, because I still don't have enough to activate her yet, and I'm going to lose one of my I'm going to actually be losing one of my tiles in the next turn, so I'm just going to go ahead and activate this right now, and hopefully I'll have enough time. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate 2 billion. All right, I have to play a little bit faster now. Okay. And let's see, with 2.9. Okay, I'm just gonna wait one more turn here. Let's see what happens if I actually, okay, here. There you go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and activate this, and then I'll activate my ultra rare card. That should take care of it. So that was a little bit harder, but it wasn't too bad. Just had to match the gems more effectively. That's really the problem, is sort of the gem creation. I think that's where having 2 of the support cards would have been nice, and I didn't really need a second ultra rare card. Let's see, so a couple more chats. Wish I captured. Yeah, I was really lucky. I was really happy to have gotten that. I happened to have all of the required cards, and I pulled the ultra rare within my budget so that I could get it. And wish they would bring it back. So I know that hopefully they'll bring it back, but hopefully not in the celebration pack, or what is it called again? The market that costs 20,000 tickets, which is a little bit expensive. And Tom, hi, keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Thanks. Greetings. Oh, so greetings from Cologne, Germany. Thank you for watching. And is it worth going for the ultra rare? So Tech Rager is asking, is it worth for going ultra rare? What my answer to that is, I was really happy to have gotten 1 ultra rare, and it's going to significantly increase your team's damage if you have at least one, one feature card, maybe at least 2, depends on your setup, but having 1 ultra rare card will boost your damage. And then having two will make it a lot easier, because when you have two ultra rare cards, it will reduce your intensity requirement by half. And I would say generally, based on what I've seen so far, one is going to be sufficient for your solo legend boss, because I think really you just need to go up to intensity 300 and you should be good to go. There's not as much requirement there. But then if you're thinking about trying to go up against a guild boss, the sort of the guild legend bosses, or trying to go a little faster, then the more would be merrier, but I wouldn't say it's a requirement. Definitely not required. Like, I'm definitely not recommending you go for multiple, but I think ultra rare card completes the deck. This is another one of those decks that the ultra rare card is really, it's not requirement per se, but it's what completes the deck here, compared to some of the other decks we've seen in the past where just a combination of the event card and the support card is good enough. I would say that based on what I've seen and heard from people, that's their experience anyways. So Grizz XBL, I see another chat here. So quit this game because of my app. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. So not sure what's going on, but I have heard some people have issues with the game as well. So Tech Rager, hopefully that answered your question. But the thing is, like, if this is out of your budget, then I would say don't go for it. I would expect, because this probably has some pretty good feedback, and it sounds like devs like this concept. They might have another deck that's going to be similar to it, and it might be more refined, more fine-tuned, and it might be even be a better version of that in the future. And so I would say, if you don't get lucky this time, I've shown ways for you to be able to deal good enough damage with with a deck like this, right? So definitely don't feel that it's absolutely necessary to go for it. When did I get my first? When did you get your first ultra rare pack in a pack? I think if you're asking for this one, I did not have good luck at all for my ultra rare pull. So your first guaranteed tier is tier 6. So that's where I had to go to get that. And then the second guarantee is 17 luck. If you look at the 17, the luck here, they introduced a luck counter. So I had to go up to 17 out of 17 to get my second card. So I was really bummed, because I see a lot of people getting the first ultra rare card on tier 1 and get the second one before tier 5. I went all the way up to tier 5 and I didn't get any. And so if you have not pulled yet, I mean, definitely open the first two. But it was just, if it weren't for the guaranteed tier 6, I would have stopped. So that's where that's where I was at. All right, let's go back and try this out. So which one is this? This is Sphere. Let's not do that. And so we're an hour into the stream. So thanks again for everybody for staying here. I'm gonna keep going here for a little bit longer. And the goal was to push, but I actually feel like just watching the chat here and answering the questions, I'm enjoying myself a lot here. So not quite as as far along here as I thought I would get, but that's okay. Just kind of we're in number 3 right now in Archmages. We were in the Overlords, but every time we hit Slayers events, we drop down, and we're getting close here. So we're just about 6 billion behind. And if you take a look at my guildmates here, I think I'm still sitting in, I'm in 4th place now. So got a little bit of ways to go, and I do need to catch up to my guildmates there so that I could should get to at least the 20 billion mark by tomorrow, so that I could help out the team, the guild a little bit. How are you guys doing anyways? How are you guys enjoying this event? How are you doing here? So reading the chat here. So Con William Deep stopped at tier 3. Oh, you got Trickster at tier 2. Oh, that's good. And then yeah, and then Con William Deep, the deck is weak with only 1 UR. Yes, like I mentioned, it completes the deck, but really 2 is where your power really shines. And Ryan Rev got 2 relics at tier 2. Hey, lucky. Congratulations. And the Pondering Peon got ultra rare last week on tier 1. Yeah, it really is. It's all the random generator. I actually for the first time ever, I think a couple of weeks ago, got my ultra rare on tier 1. That's the Giants deck. So that was the giant deck that I got, and but I didn't have enough of the other cards to make up the team, so that was really unfortunate. All right, let's go ahead and keep going here. So I think if this was against a fire boss, I actually could get really close to. Oh shoot! I didn't change the team back. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this up. It'll take a little bit longer because I'm short on the card that can generate the tile there. So speaking of Thor, the Mahalo Maiden deck was also a classic. A lot of people really like that deck. Not sure if maybe this was too old of a deck for some of you, but if anybody has it, do you still use that team in Slayer events? Just curious. Or how about the Panda deck? With the Jade Protector there. Those were all cards that people, really enjoyed using, because that was back when Halloween type decks were still very popular. A lot of people really liked them, and they were just one of the more powerful decks in in its time. But now the meta has really changed, so that the Halloween type decks, they need to have boosts or they can't compete. Right, did I use up all of my? I think I used up all of my celebration tiles there. Yeah, I did. All right, so let's keep going there. I think I need to make sure not to use I need to use only one ultra rare each time. Yeah, I need to do that. Okay, so that I can at least build up my my celebration tiles a little bit more, and I think I can do this. Yeah. Okay. 2 seconds remaining. All right, can we do this? With 9.8, probably not. Yeah, probably not gonna happen. So let's go ahead and exit out and update the team so that I don't forget about that again. Okay, so I don't want to interfere. Let's go type corrupt. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is probably I'll probably end the stream as well. I don't want this to be super long. I'll probably end the stream in another couple of minutes here. I'm gonna at least finish this boss here, and then let this finish loading, and then I will upload the video afterwards. Or I think it'll automatically upload there. I actually haven't tried that, so we'll see afterwards. But it's been a blast so far. I've just been on the stream right now. Like I said earlier, for those of you who are just joining, it's my first time doing this, and I wasn't really sure how it's going to turn out. So I was really surprised and really really happy to see all of you joining here and having a good conversation. I think that's really sort of part of the goal here, is to get people together. We can kind of talk about the game and just kind of enjoy and just have some fun at the same time. And this is very different than when I do the videos, because when I do videos, like, there's always a theme and there's always a goal in mind. And so this, I feel like you just kind of play and talk at the same time and just kind of be free form. So it's pretty interesting and enjoyable, and obviously making a lot of mistakes at the same time. All right, so let's go ahead and activate everything. Ben Rutherford, appreciate the deck advice you gave, and has definitely kept me in the game. I appreciate that. One of the things that got me started in doing YouTube videos for this in the first place was that I played the game for a while before I even did anything like that, and there was there's just a lot of tips and tricks that I learned along the way that I just found like people weren't getting the answers. They weren't really getting the tips, and they didn't really know some of the tricks to the game. And so I thought that I would share, and the best way to share that was just through some videos. And I had done something similar in the past. I had another game I used to play, and I used to do the same thing, but it just wasn't getting nearly as much attention there. So you kind of morphed over time to where I felt like, okay, once I got to know the game a little bit better and I got to know some of the mechanics and sort of understanding how to explain it to people a bit better, that's where I really felt like, okay, it's making a difference, and I'm really glad that you guys are finding this useful. That's really sort of the one of the main reasons for this channel, and so I really appreciate hearing all the feedback as well. So thanks a lot for letting me know through the comments and just kind of through my chats in other groups. It's been really helpful for me as well. It's been a really good growth experience. And just kind of reading again, so commanders for casual, and yeah, and so like I have my regular schedules now, so as you know, my schedule here is really, I try to make a video for sure whenever the preview is available, and then when the event starts. Let me know also, like, if there's any other formats. I kind of feel like maybe a stream in the middle just like this is probably a good sort of in between, so they can have a couple of videos, get things going, get people started, and sort of explain how the mechanics work, and then we can just use this to really sort of play it out and get, because it's kind of hard in the video format to really get that flow going. And so I'm hoping that this kind of helps people sort of see it in action. We can test things out, experiment, and try things. And so I think this is something that I would definitely want to try more of as well. And let's see. So last comment there. I like how you look for all the deck options each week. So I think it's really important to not feel like you have to get the same, get the deck every single event. It's just not feasible. And I also love deck building. And so one of the things I find most exciting is being able to find that one card that people didn't think about, or that it just kind of gets overlooked, that ends up being one of the most useful cards in the particular deck, or just being able to combine two decks together to compete. So I really enjoy that aspect. So that's also for myself, and I know that a budget deck is really what most people are dealing with, and that's what I went through for a long time as well. And so I definitely make sure I look for it, and glad that it's been helpful, glad that it's helping. Let me know if it's useful, and definitely let me know too if it ends up just being not very usable for you for any reason. I would love to learn more about that as well. All right, so let's go into one more fight as well right now. And let's see. So let's see how Gadre would deal with this team here. I think I can really only deal with Weekend. I can't deal with Fear. Or I mean, I can bring in Warden there, but then it's just not as fun. So let's go ahead and meet Leah. Leah, meet Gadre and Oglyph and Orsang. So one of my challenges though with the Light Goblin deck is that I only have one Light Human relic, and so that's sort of my challenge with all of my decks, new decks, is I just have one of the relics for that affinity. So getting enough of the gems to power up the team is always sort of a challenge there. And so every time I open relic packs, I'm always keep my fingers crossed that I get get double. It's been a long time since I've had a 2 relics in one pack there, so I'm hoping I get lucky in the next one. Okay, so probably gonna have to take 3, yeah, because especially since I'm getting hit with Weekend there, it's gonna probably take 3 hits total to deal damage there, but there you go. And by the way, so this is something that I might have mentioned in videos already, but in case you didn't notice, once you sort of figure out the order in which you usually would activate your cards, just place them either left to right or right to left. It actually it just saves a lot of time, and it doesn't saves a lot of thinking around like where you need to activate. So for me, my preference is to go from left to right, and so you notice that I actually put Gadre first and then Oglyph. I actually use I always activate Gadre first because you want to maximize the number of Power Gem 3s, and then let Oglyph go so that you can fill up the rest with Power Gem 2s. If you reverse the order where you go Oglyph and then Gadre, then you're actually going to miss on the total number of power gem 3s that you can have on the board, and that's going to reduce your overall damage as well. So just keep that in mind there. Let's see. Reading back, there's a couple more chats here. So there's a question from Eric Taylor. Was there a good deck to use against chromatic bosses? No, actually, you did not miss anything because I've been bad. I did not actually do any chromatic fights. So you can see I'm only at level 1 right now. So that means I am missing all of the things I needed to get my summon coin and my Frogs Crate, so I do need to get going on that end. That reminds me, let's go ahead and collect the coin. And let's see what rune we get. I think I already have that one. So yeah, so like after I claimed everything, I had 2 more runes I could collect. I was kind of, you know, hopeful that I could fill up the rest of the missing pieces, and then I could, you know, craft the missing rune, or maybe go for another tier there. But you can see like both of the runes I got there were the eye, so that just sucks. All right, but let's talk chromatic. Okay, so I think that for chromatic bosses, personally, I feel that if you have the Amy deck, she is going to be your friend. Okay, so let's see here. So I generally think that if you simply went with this setup, and since this is fire, I would actually go with Wenday. What do I want to do? Let's use this. So I have 2 decks that I normally would use. So I would do this and then basically fill up the rest with revive heroes. And this one's going to be a creature. Because really, you like with this particular setup, you want to actually lose all of your health, right? So you want to go and do Dark Dren. And unfortunately for green, I don't have any good cards. So I think with that one, or what would I actually do? Just anything really. Frank, why not? So this is just kind of thinking like I would just do that. And the other deck that I would use is, I think I saw it here. So Jason Black, that's exactly where I was going to go next. Just go with Albinus. So that would be the creature, dark creature. So the reason I, use this deck is because of the passive there, where I think what happens, this is a little bit different. So for this card, the health of all of the creature cards gets increased by 25%, and I think this happens before they disable your other cards. So if you run 4 of your Albinus, and then you just put in a nuke card of your choice, then you can work as well. But yeah, like not many people have all of those cards, so that's one issue. But if you do have those cards, this actually works. So if you run 4 of them, it doesn't matter that it gets they get disabled. The health actually remains. So you're gonna get your health so that you'll have enough health to 1 key and to actually survive a few hits and then revive, building up intensity at the same time, and you can use your new card to just take it out. So I guess Wenday will probably be the choice here. Let's see, let's go back to Amy here. So we're gonna go into light and special. So honestly, like not mystic, light special. Unfortunately, my chromatic boss level is just too low. Oh, and I need to change the relic too. Let's go ahead and swap. What would I want it to be? I want to make sure that I have enough light, so I definitely want to go special. I want to have light there, and what's my leader? I don't want to do that. I think I have Dren, so what I'll do is I'll just do light. Okay, you know what? I can do honored. just building up the deck right now. Apologize for talking to myself there. Let's see. So one of the things I want to do is build up the light, and then I want to power up the water, but I don't have enough water there. So instead I'm going to power Mondo instead. That actually worked out better for me. So let's go ahead and do Trin. And what we'll do is power up there. And yeah, actually I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and use my Amy's card here. And that card, Amy's sword. And I'll talk a little bit about like what my thought process afterwards. And if I do that, then I have to swap him with her. So my thought process here is I wanna for sure power up Amy, and I also need to be able to power up like Mondo. And so running 2 relics with a 3 and 2 setup here will help you ensure that you get that. And I think actually probably I want to swap this too, so that I actually have my, there you go. So I have my dark come up first and then light afterwards, so that I have 3 light because I need to power up Amy with 9, and then 5 is only all I need for Mondo, so I can do that. So what I can do there is afterwards just, you know, activate Amy, and then if it doesn't kill, then use the Mondo Nighthill ability to nuke down, or use you know, use One Day, or use any of the other cards to nuke down the boss. I'll play around. Once I get to 300, if I can, then I will probably make a video there. So I was busy talking, I didn't catch up on the chat there. So let's see. So we have Come Willing Deep using Drake People, and next you have the game on the right side of the screen. Okay, yeah, I'm not really sure how it's showing up for everyone there. So yeah, I could easily switch this up. Just trying it out. So if you guys, you know, let me know too, like what you guys think. So if you think that the game should be on the right side, I'll try that next. You know, that's not a problem. We can do that for sure next time. All right, and so with that, I think it's an hour and 20 minutes into the stream. I think I'm going to probably end this in the next minute or two. So I just wanted to take this chance to say thank you very much for joining us here. And we're still recording. Yeah, so thanks for joining us. And I will, you know, we'll talk about the next time we'll do a stream, and then I'll make sure to put in a video, and then we will we'll see you next time. So thanks a lot, guys. I think that's pretty much it. And I'm gonna stop streaming now. I think chat's still gonna go though, but I'm gonna stop at this point.